Now let's add some detail to go on the wings. So there's an area up here that I want to add a little bit of detail to, and I just want to use splines to do this. So hopefully it's not getting too repetitive, but I want you to really see what you can do with splines. And so I'm going to just draw some splines out here. And so let me just use a different kind of spline this time. Let's maybe just use a freehand. And so this is going to allow us to draw this out a little bit differently. So rather than clicking and placing points, we're going to click and draw. So I'm going to start kind of right here, and I'm going to click and draw a shape that I want to create. So coming down here, up here, and then around the front and up. And you can see that's really nice because it actually gives us not very many points, but it gives the shape that we want. So I'll go ahead and close it. Then I can manipulate the points just as I would with any other spline. Go ahead and pull that back, make that hard interpolation. Okay, and go ahead and smooth this out by rotating this a little bit. You can see it made it into a Bezier curve, Bezier spline here. We'll go ahead and kind of pull this one forward. If you want to make a different shape, feel free to do that. I just want something to kind of set off this little part inside the wing. Let's see, there we go. So kind of pull this in. All right. Now I want to create a copy of this, and let's grab both of these and pull them over into position here. So something like that. Let's grab the other one, and this one we will sort of pull forward a little bit and down, and we can manipulate this one too. So grabbing the points, pushing back in a little bit. Okay, grabbing these points and just matching them up with the wing a little bit more. Maybe help a little. Pulling this down a bit. Okay, and then we can add a little bit of thickness to these, just the same way we've been doing it in the past. And let's take a look at dragging both of these splines in here. You can see right now that the extrude NURBS is just creating geometry for the first spline, but if we go into extrude NURBS and we turn on hierarchical, it can add it to both of these. So we can do both of these at the same time. Let's come in and kind of decrease this a little bit. We can play with our fillet caps to give ourselves a little bit of a bevel. Let's take down the radius of the bevel a bit on both sides. Okay, I definitely want to have that hard edge look. And then you can see areas where you need to manipulate the spline a little bit. So we can go ahead and kind of pull that up. I want it to be right kind of on top, but not necessarily penetrating into the surface. So I'll kind of bring that up a little bit. Again, allowing us to manipulate the spline here. And the geometry follows along. So it gives us an interesting kind of hard surface little detail there for the front of the wing. Okay, now I also want to add this pivot here. So let's take this cylinder and duplicate it, move it out, and I want to take the height of this one down a little bit. And I want to butt it right up against this one, kind of like that. All right, now let's group our wing together. So we've got all these bits and pieces put together. So I want to start to group these things together along with this pivot. So we'll select everything that we want to include. And let's right click, group objects. For now, we'll call this wing. You can see if there's anything that hasn't been included by turning off the visibility. All right. Now if we want to create the other wing, for now we can just take this wing null, drop it into symmetry, and then we want to mirror it across the Z. So we'll do XY to mirror it over. And then we want to do the same thing for these pieces. So this piece, the cylinder. Let's go ahead and group these. We'll call this wing pivot. And check and see what's all included in that. Looks good. So we can go ahead and take another symmetry, drop our wing pivot in there. Again, taking it across that axis. Okay, now if we want to move our wing in a little bit, we can do that too. So make it a little bit closer. Okay, and then we can take this pivot. So find our cylinder here and move it back out. And everything that we do on this side is going to be mirrored over on the other side. So I just want the wings to be a little bit closer to the pod. All right, so we're kind of getting there. You can see how all these little bits and pieces that we're creating are starting to come together to form our overall shape and our overall model. And the hope is that at some point you'll be able to take the tools that you're learning about and apply them to your own models rather than copying along with what someone else is doing. You can create your own designs. Okay, so the next thing that we want to do now that we've got this mirrored over is we want to create some struts that are connecting these two wings along the back. So let's go ahead and build those in the next lesson.